Hello, welcome back to Budget with Chloe. Today I'm here to do my very first monthly spending breakdown, and this is for the month of September. And so I just want to start with the income versus expenses. And my income for September was $4,300.93, and that came from my payroll from work, which was about $3,700. The $500 that my brother gives me in rent that goes towards the mortgage, which, side note, I usually put that in ready to assign and then pay the whole mortgage so it looks like I pay the whole mortgage. It's kind of confusing. I don't like to log it as a reimbursement because if he ever left, I would have to pay that entire amount. So for me, it just makes sense to put his groceries and stuff under reimbursement and then the mortgage payment part to go into ready to assign. But I don't know if maybe I should do it a different way. I got about $90 from Uber Eats delivery, and then I also had a $10 deposit from taking my bottles and cans back to the recycling depot, and then 23 cents of interest from my savings account, which does not have very much money in it right now. So that is the total income for September, and my expenses grouped by categories will go into more depth under the spending breakdown here. But that came to $3,939.74. And so my net for the month was positive $361.19. So that's good. I'm pretty sure last month it was negative, but that was only because I saved money for my trip and then went on my trip. So obviously a lot more went out than it came in. But we can go over the spending breakdown here. So here is the month of September, and I'm going to do it by groups. And I'm going to keep that there. So the biggest category was obviously, or category group, was the fixed expenses for my house. And so that breaks down into my mortgage, which again is the full payment, which my brother pays $500 of. So out of my own personal work income, it's only $1,235.13. But the income that I showed you here does include the $500 that he sent me. So I guess it's not really worth mentioning, but so $1,735.13, and then property tax, condo fees take up a pretty big chunk. My Peloton, that's the monthly subscription as well as the payment plan for the bike that I have. My TV and internet, phone bill, bank fees, and Apple Music. So all of that came to $2,452.80. And then backing out, the next biggest category group was the variable expenses. So of course, groceries takes the cake for that one at $448.42. This does include, I don't always buy liquor from the liquor store, but when I do, I put it under groceries, and that's why it kind of skews my grocery bill quite a bit. Typically, I would say I'm more like $350 to $400, but I did buy some things this month, which I categorized as groceries, so maybe I need to look at having a separate liquor category just so that it doesn't make my grocery spending look a little wacky. Then utilities, $168.50. That's water, power, heat, all that. So not too bad. I if you watched my last budgeting video, I'm trying to create a buffer by putting in some more money each month as we get closer to winter, because this will get to about, I think the highest it was last winter was $280 for my half. And this is my half. This is split with my brother. We just split it straight down the middle. So the whole house utilities are going to be double this, but this is my portion. And yeah, for the winter, I'm looking at about $280 for my portion at the highest. So I just want to create some rollover to have that available for those months. But it does get pretty low in in the summer, even with the AC going. Health and wellness, $76.60. I went to the dentist this month. And then toiletries, not much going on, spent $9.70. And so the total for the variable home expenses was $703.22. And then moving on to debt payments, I spent $326.30. Had the Apple Watch payment, which after today, October 1st, I only have 2 more payments. And then my loan payment, which this was my last payment for my loan. If you've been watching, you'll know that I have had this loan for 2 years, and I never want to take out a loan again, and I'm so excited to have that money freed up every month and be able to start contributing to my sinking funds more. And so that is that one. I know I didn't really touch on it in the last video, kind of glossed over it, but that is so exciting to me, and I'm so happy to be done with it. And then money that I owe my parents, I paid $150 towards that. I haven't really gone into detail about that. I probably could do it in another video, but just if you're watching, just know that I owe my parents some money, and they're kind of flexible with how I pay that back. So yeah. And then my vehicle, $325.55. Got gas. I got a little bit more this month because I was doing Uber Eats delivery. But if you saw my short video, I did add additional money in there from the earnings from Uber Eats delivery so that I could cover the extra gas that I would need that isn't related to my personal spending on gas. And then, of course, car insurance, $152.25. And then quality of life. So just 2 things here. Dining out, $101.40. So I did give myself $75 this month, and I spent that on 2 brunch outings, and then I did end up using some of my Uber Eats delivery income to fund, what did I get? I think we had some drinks out when we went to the golf course, so I paid for me and my partner because he paid for me to golf. So that was why I went over my $75 there, but I found the money and covered it. And then work activities, I think I had to get a driver's abstract to do the Uber Eats delivery. Every year you need a new one. So I think I classified that as work activities. And then I think I also needed money for the gift fund. So I think that's a combination of those 2 things. And then the last thing is annual spending. And this was, yes, my license and registration. Or no, sorry, it wasn't the license and it was just the registration for my car. So that was $96.37. And that is everything. And so I did have a inflow. I think I'm a little confused with how the math works, but this is supposed to be higher, I think, but because I got an inflow that offset the spending that I did on my credit card, like I used it, this is a $109, I think it's, yeah. So that was the refund from the airline that I talked about in a previous video. And I think because I then flowed that into my travel category, then up to my credit card, I think it like counteracted. I'm actually not sure how it works, but when I uncheck those categories, it drops this down. So I'm not really sure about that. But I believe my spending for the month was $3,939.74, which was what it said here. Yeah. So I think, yeah, and it's got the positive 109. Yeah, I'm not sure. I left it negative last month, so maybe that does balance out somewhere, but that's a little confusing to me. But that is all of my spending for September. It is now October. That's crazy. I'm excited for another super fun month, and we will see how it goes. I'll be back with another budgeting video next Wednesday and possibly a YouTube short on Uber Eats. I find that because it's such a small amount of money, it's not really enough to a full video. I mean, it'd be really short, but I could also, if you guys want, I could talk about Uber Eats delivery as a secondary source of income. It's kind of different dependent on the area, but if anyone's interested in that, let me know. And I will see you all next week. Bye.